Matt Maiocco was on the radio yesterday, and he was asked, like, what's going to go on with Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's such a plain-spoken, honest dude, and he was like, man, I can't really see him starting anywhere this season, which I've felt for a while. I mean, which team seems super motivated to get Jimmy Garoppolo coming off surgery, and he hasn't been on your team in OTAs and minicamp? Like, you're just going to throw the playbook at him in August, coming off a surgery to his throwing shoulder, and be like, hey, cram that into your brain and be our starter, and and we're going to win the Super Bowl. What is the point? Shouldn't you just go with your whatever young guy you have? I mean, it seems like that's the way this is going. What do you think?
Yeah, he ain't being a starter this year. That's why I keep thinking every time Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, whoever the hell goes up there and says, like, yeah, unless he's traded, like, what kind of delusion do you have? Let's just say this. If the 49ers are able to trade Garoppolo for anything, a ham sandwich, they should be crowned offseason champions, because, my God, nobody on their God's green earth should trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. You're going to take on that contract and give up anything? Like, that alone would be malpractice if you're a team like trading for Garoppolo. If you're the Niners, my God, you guys are crescent for the best offseason I've ever seen. But that's just freaking ridiculous with what he's gonna do at anything this season. I see him. He's going to be like a picked up emergency backup for some team who loses it, whether it's through gameplay or injury. But nah, he's not going to be a star anymore. It's done. I mean, I think we all could have pretty much surmised that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. He was trying to be really fair. I think he was. He's like, he's definitely a top 25 quarterback in the NFL. I thought that was a very diplomatic way. You could say that, right? He's a top 25 quarterback in the NFL. But what team is going to say, let's trade for that number 25 ranked quarterback and his contract for 1 year so we can win a Super Bowl? Like, that's not going to happen. No one thinks they're one Jimmy Garoppolo away from winning a Super Bowl. So what's the point? What are you really doing? It seems like a waste. It's a waste of reps that could go to a quarterback with a future. And I think that's how I felt last year. The whole time last year, like, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not going to happen. And we saw it didn't happen. I mean, he's probably not going to be healthy at the end of the year. He's just not good enough. So what's the point of having the 25th best quarterback who's 30 and won't be on your team next year when you could just start freaking Drew Lock or Jacoby Brissett? Like, what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's always that salary too, right? That everyone keeps getting bugged about. Like, why are you going to take that on and give up asset? But
and not win a Super
especially
Bowl.
with Baker Mayfield out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Baker Mayfield's kind of being painted as a toxic character, which he probably is, but he's cheaper and has a little more promise. At least he can actually air it out. I mean, he might not be the most accurate, especially medium short range or whatever, but at least he has like something you can build upon. I mean, Jimmy doesn't really, you kind of know what he has. I mean, if he's struggling and just can barely get past in a passing offense with the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan of all coaches, what are lesser coaches, which is most of them, going to be able to do with him, especially when it's going to expedite his learning in the process, trying to build that synchronization with the skill weapons? He's just an emergency quarterback. I mean, once all those teams pretty much filled up all their holes at quarterback back in March, it was pretty much over for him, his future. He was not being a starter anymore.
Nope. And it's like, coming off the surgery, he's going to have to be a backup for a while. And again, to me, this is going to be very interesting to me. I want to see if he can do it. He was a backup for a long time, but back then he didn't have $100 million. He's at the stage of his career. I mean, I feel like Ryan Tannehill did this. Ryan Tannehill made a lot of money with Miami, and he was written off, and he had to go be Marcus Mariota's backup, and he did it. And Mariota went down. Tannehill played, was clearly better, got another $100 million contract. Maybe Jimmy could do that. But it would require him like sort of swallowing his pride and going somewhere and being someone's backup and just holding a clipboard and, doing football for the love of the game. Does he still have that? I wonder. I don't know. I'd love to see him do it. I'm skeptical that he will.
Probably take the Mitchell Trubisky route, kind of what he did.
Yeah.
Like, even who else did that? Marcus Mariota route, I guess.
Very, very rich Mitchell Trubisky, who's had injury issues. Like, how many more injuries will he put up with? How many more backup roles will he take? I don't know. Maybe it'll be Mac Jones back in New England.
It's definitely going to be a reclamation project for himself, in a sense.
I think it'll be good for him. I think he's mentally broken. Like, the whole downfield throwing thing has gotten worse since the Emmanuel Sanders missing the Super Bowl. Like, I think he's got mental PTSD from that. And it would probably behoove him to just sit on the bench for a while and watch someone else play.
He doesn't have any other choice either. He doesn't have any other choice. Hey, man, here's our option. Be stubborn with what you want to get
and retire at 30, like, Jake Locker and Andrew Luck, or go work your way up from the bottom again. Go be a backup again. Hey, you go to Tampa.
Oh God.
Hey, real quick side note, do you think it's a coincidence that Julian Edelman and Brandon Marshall came out with this thing right before Jimmy Garoppolo is supposed to start throwing and like be on the market?
It can't be a coincidence, right? It can't be. It kind of seems like everything was pretty much like within a day of each other and within a day of each other. I remember hearing when Martellus Bennett first said that, I was like, God damn, it's like you have all these 49er players who just always continue, even now, great guy, whatever, this and that, dude's so humble, dude's so wholesome, whatever, this and that. And then you just have old Patriots player just completely just straight taking a sledgehammer to his name.
And it's like 5 years later, right? They're mad about something that happened early 2016. Bennett said it last year, 2021. And now in 2022, Julian Edelman comes out and said, like, right before Jimmy's going to hit the market, says the same thing. And it's like, they are really holding a grudge. To me, what's crazy about it is not only were they angry about it, but they're not going to let it go. And in their opinion is like, I don't care that Jimmy Garoppolo played through a thumb injury for the Niners this year. Look, what he did to us in 2016, we will never let go, never let people forget about it. And we actually want to harm his career. That's what it seemed like. We want people to remember that he's soft and he quit on us and he will quit on you and he will shut himself. I was like, whoa, you talk about me costing players money. Like Julian Edelman and Martellus Bennett are trying to cost Jimmy Garoppolo money. Like that is deep.
That's worse.
Whoa.
I actually played with him. They know him.
My goodness. I was surprised.
I wonder if that's not why Jimmy forced his injuries through the hand, shoulder, and whatever else he had at that time, where he's like,
Bennett said that before.
Let me just push through it.
Of course, because he didn't. And you wonder, like, did he shut himself? Remember, first of all, there was 2020. He had the high ankle sprain, never came back. Lynch said he was practicing and looking great. Did he shut himself down? Then there was 2021. He got hurt against Seattle. Halftime, Kyle Shanahan said, well, I didn't have the best game plan for Trey because Jimmy didn't tell me he wasn't going to play until we were walking out for the second half. He said that on the record. Did he shut himself down in that game? Then there was, what? Well, those would be a few. Mm-hmm. Those would be a few. Did he shut himself down in those cases? I don't know. Maybe not. But he played through it this year, and they questioned him in New England. Anyway.
And that's probably also something they said to him. It's like, look, Jimmy, man, we need you to push through this injury stuff because this is already stacked against you. And if you want to go next season into having some semblance of a starting role, you need to actually show that you're tough.
And it backfired.
Yeah, it did.
Murphy says, if Jimmy leads the Browns to the playoffs and Trey doesn't, would you walk any of your comments about Jimmy or the bust or the just blame the O-line coaching, etc.? Well, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see if it unfolds that way. How about that? We'll have to see what happens. People trying to get me to commit to something and a bunch of hypotheticals. That's a hypothetical. Let's see Jimmy Garoppolo start for a team before we talk about walking things back. How about that, Murphy?
See him actually get signed to a team.
Let's see him actually be a starter or be in the league first. Talking about leading the team. Let's see him be healthy for 5 games in a row this year.